Hello, very good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and preview for Manchester United's visit to Istanbul against Istanbul Basaksehir. I think I've pronounced that right. I've certainly done a little bit of homework on them to see what they're all about, and we'll be talking about that today and what it means for Manchester United. We've been so good in the Champions League. I'd expect us to win in Istanbul. Then we play them at home straight after the international break. 12 points, bada bing, we've qualified to the next round. But what's going on in the Premier League is really important, and what happens in this game can feed into what happens in the Premier League. Solskjaer's got to start picking the right team and making the right decisions, or you will get the sack. Ole, you've got to stop making silly decisions. You've got to stop picking players because they're passion merchants and picking talented players that fit the Manchester United shirt. It's too big for some of these people who just run around like Duracell bunnies. We need a bit of passion, but we also need a lot of quality, and you're putting quality on the bench. Lots to talk about, of course. Big shout out to the Flick app that with the United Stand is on now. Over 1,000 people downloaded it yesterday. It's free. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Daily polls, daily quizzes, loads and loads of little different chat groups on the app that you can get involved in. Basically, think of our Flick app as a little bit like a WhatsApp group, but with loads and loads of different chats you can get involved in. Champions League, transfer, FIFA, general news, Ole in, Poch, polls, free. Links in the video description. Download it, get on it, and join the chat. I'm on there quite a lot more than I thought than I would be, actually. But you can download it, link in the video description, and get on there. I'll have a look at what today's poll is in a moment for you. But let's get on with... look, I'm not going to... There's an elephant in the room as well. Ryan Giggs doesn't play for Manchester United anymore, but he is a Manchester United legend. This morning, there is news in the UK that Ryan Giggs has been arrested. This has actually been confirmed. It's not speculation. He has been arrested over the weekend on suspicion of what we're told is a common assault or an assault, and he was arrested from his address at the weekend. There's something in this country called innocent until proven guilty. Ryan Giggs denies all charges. There is always two sides to every story, and there will be a legal process now. There's nothing more for me or any other United fan to say. You will get people out there who don't like Ryan Giggs, who don't like Manchester United, who start calling him all sorts of names, which are associated with this type of an assault. But I would say innocent until proven guilty, and let's just let the legal process go ahead. It's the same as Harry Maguire. It's the same as anything. Until you're found guilty, you're innocent. And that's what happens in this country. So, yeah, it's sensationalist. Yes, Ryan Giggs will get a lot of stick over today. But, you know, as I've said, this is a legend. I judge players on the pitch. What they do off the pitch, a lot of footballers are idiots. That's a fact. I've met a lot of them. Some of them are really nice people. Some of them are idiots, like anybody in real life. The reality is Ryan Giggs is a Manchester United legend. I think he's got some really interesting things to say about football. What he does off the pitch, he's a human being. And look, let's hope that the truth outs on this. And if he is innocent, that his name is cleared very, very quickly. But look, we're not going to avoid something like that when it's trending and people are talking about it in the comments and stuff. But ultimately, I don't think people should judge people until somebody's been found guilty of it. It's just at this moment in time, it's just an investigation. Anyway, let's move on to football matters, which is where we want to talk. United have been linked to a right winger. I want to talk about that a little bit as well. Angel Gomez, Harry Maguire. Look, let's just talk about Harry Maguire very, very quickly. Harry Maguire's comments. We didn't talk about this. And we're going to talk about this game against Istanbul as well. But hi, Mark. Was wondering if you can wish my girlfriend Eva a massive happy birthday, says Marcus Jones. We're both massive fans and would like to thank you for the amazing content during this hard time up the United. Happy birthday to Eva. Nice little message there from your husband, Marcus. I hope you look after him on your birthday as well and have a nice day. Anyway, Lindelof instead of Maguire, says Venkat. Well, that's the team I think we should go with on the left, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, you can see I've got Maguire and Twansebi there. Let's talk about Harry Maguire's comments after the game against Arsenal. Now, I purposely avoided a lot of the comments from players after the game. I looked at Ollie's comments. I didn't look at many of the players' comments because at the end of the day, I don't really care what a Manchester United player's got to say after the pitch. I've got eyes. I saw what you did on the pitch. Nothing you can say afterwards is going to right the wrong of what you did on the pitch. Footballers should let their football do the talking, not excuses after the game. But listen to this from Ole Gunnar, from Harry Maguire, the general consensus of his quotes. Hard to put a finger on it. I keep saying we've got to stay level-headed. and it feels like we were patting each other on the back after the result against Leipzig. That's Manchester United's captain there. And I don't like the way Harry Maguire speaks to the media after games. He never speaks about I, he always speaks about we. And the reality is, when he made those mistakes against Spurs, it was we. When it's after the game against Arsenal, it's people are patting themselves on the back and I've been telling them not to. So it's always about self-protection with Harry Maguire. And I think he needs a little bit of media help from the club because it doesn't come across well as a captain. Against Spurs, he made the mistakes, but it's we. And against Arsenal, it's I've told people to be level-headed, so it's not his fault. It's never his fault, is what I'm saying. It always comes across as it's never his fault. Whether that's deliberate or not, I don't know, but he's not a captain. I've said this so many times. For me, he's not a captain because he's exposed himself as not being a captain. Because if he's telling us publicly, I've told the lads to stay level-headed, and then they're not staying level-headed, again, it reflects badly on you as a captain because they're not listening to you. You're not having an influence on this team. And I just don't think that, can't quite put my finger on where it's gone wrong. I've told the lads to stay level-headed. That's a bad captain. If you can't lead people, you're a bad captain. It's not about coming out and saying, oh, I tried to tell them this would happen, or I can't put my finger on what's going on. You're the captain of the club. Roy Keane would come out and you would have total confidence that it's going to get sorted out. Brian Robson, Gary Neville, Vidic. You've got confidence that they understand it. Harry Maguire, this captain's armband doesn't fit him. It doesn't matter how tight you put it around his arm, it will fall off. It's loose. He's not a captain and he doesn't lead this team. I know he's out off the pitch. He's well liked and he's liked in the dressing room, and I think he organises the Christmas raffle or whatever, or a weekly meal. But it's not working, Ollie. It's not working, and it reflects badly on you. Most people feel that the players don't respect you and are not playing for you. They're definitely not playing for your captain. You've got to get something sorted here because we are rudderless. Rudderless. Not only have we only taken 1 point from 12 at Old Trafford this season, we've only scored 2 goals in 4 games at Old Trafford. 2 goals! We're averaging half a goal at Old Trafford this season in the Premier League. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. And you know what? In the words of Henry VIII, heads need to roll. You've got to get some of these players out of the team and you've got to shake it up. I missed the first few minutes you live early today, and Ollie out, my favourite player to watch this season is Bruno and Holland, so CV Kevin. We're a little bit early today. I apologise for that. We're a little bit early today because Ollie's press conference is at midday, so I've pulled the 10 o'clock show forward half an hour to get the preview in, and then we're going to be live again at about 12:30 anyway with Ollie's press conference reaction. So it's a bit of a busy day today, so I thought I'd just bring it back for half an hour. Please smash a like on the video. Anyway, let's talk about the game itself. Then we're going to talk about this right winger we've been linked to and a little bit about Angel Gomez. Player to look out for Istanbul. Obviously, Raphael plays for them, former Manchester United and Lyon. Skirtle, former Liverpool. Demba Ba plays for them, but he's more of a bench player. I've got his name. Edin Vischer is a Bosnian sort of playmaker. He's been at Istanbul for years. He's considered their best player. He could play centrally, but he normally plays slightly off to the right. So keep an eye on for him. They did very well. I mean, hold my hands up. I've never watched them play for 90 minutes. That will be my first time tomorrow night. But from what the research I've done of them, and I did watch their highlights against Leipzig and more in depth PSG. They did very well against PSG for a long period of that game, and then 2 late goals from Moise Kean obviously took the game 2-0, and Leipzig 2-0. So look, it's their first time in the Champions League, and the Turkish league isn't terrible. I think they'll be competitive, especially over in Istanbul. They'll be competitive. I don't know whether there's going to be fans in the ground. I don't think that there are in Turkey, but they will be competitive. They will give us a game, but I would expect Manchester United to win this, and that's the infuriating thing in a way. We'll probably go and play really well, which is what we've done the last couple of weeks, and then we've been crap at the weekend. So I expect United to beat Istanbul. I expect there to be a reaction, but to me the reaction needs to be tomorrow against Istanbul, but also Everton on Saturday. It can't just be Istanbul and then we lose to Everton. There's some rumours in the papers this morning that if Solskjaer loses to Everton, he'll get the sack. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's that close to the sack, to be honest. But So I'm not even thinking about sackings. What I'm demanding is wins tomorrow against Istanbul and Everton at the weekend. And then, look, let's see where we go after the next international break, which seems to be every international break. We're just spending time talking about whether, where we're going as a football club, which is disappointing. But in relation to his starting 11, they tend to play with a back four. They might play 5 in the midfield and 1 up front. They might go 4-4-2. To me, you've got to play the diamond and play the diamond properly. We will have Martial back, who is streets ahead of Rashford and Greenwood. And to be in fairness to Greenwood and Rashford and Cavani. Cavani's not fit, so, bad signing. Cavani's a bad signing because it was a panic buy, and he's probably not going to be fit until after the international break. So realistically, we bought Cavani at the end of September. He's not going to be properly fit until the end of November. So 2 months of the season before we can really judge Cavani. It's not his fault, it's the club's fault. He's not fit. Greenwood has spent most of his young years at United's first team playing off the right. We're asking him to play up front now. It's an adaptation. Rashford, I don't really think works well in the front two as the focal point. He needs somebody with him to hold the ball up, which will be Martial tomorrow. So Martial comes back into the team, and I think he makes a big difference, and Rashford should benefit from that. Obviously, Bruno in behind, and then as I go, from top to bottom, to me, that midfield that I've got there is Matic, Van der Beek, Pogba, and Bruno. The 2 players that need to be dropped are Scott McTominay. I mean, I'd drop him. I don't want to tell you where I'd drop him from, but I would drop him from the whole team. I wouldn't even have him on the bench. Wouldn't have him anywhere near the starting lineup. And I'm pretty sure Solskjaer will probably start him tomorrow. If he starts McTominay tomorrow, that's just a big, stubborn up yours to everybody else who knows he's not good enough. He's not good enough. He's miles off being good enough. I don't think he's going to prove he's good enough this season. And all it's going to be is stubbornness. And stubborn managers get the sack. Mourinho was stubborn, he got the sack. Van Gaal was stubborn, he got the sack. If Ole wants to try and be stubborn for a player that's not good enough for Manchester United, you're going to sack yourself, Ole. You've got to start putting your best midfield out. And your best midfield is Matic, Fred, Bruno, and Pogba. Now, Van der Beek needs to start, and Fred was poor at the weekend, so he deserves not to play, or he needs a game off. Fred's played a lot of games recently. McTominay and Fred come out of the team. You put Van der Beek, Pogba, Bruno, and Matic in a diamond, and I guarantee you it will work, and it will work well. We're playing Istanbul. If you can't play Van der Beek and Pogba and Bruno and Matic against Istanbul, what's the bloody point in having those 4 midfielders? Because they're your best midfielders. Those 4 are our best midfielders. They've got to play. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw will be fullbacks. Tellez will not be fit to play in this game. I don't even think he'll be back for the Everton game, to be honest with you. So we're going to have to go with those fullbacks. De Gea in goal. And then, Tuansebe's got to start. He has to start this game. I don't understand for the life of me why he hasn't played in 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks now since he played brilliantly well against PSG. And we've had 4 games since then. And he hasn't played 1 minute starting a game, which is ridiculous. How ridiculous is it? You basically have to mark Mbappe, and you do it superbly well. Time and time again, you're sprinting against him, you're tackling him, and you don't get to play a minute after that. We revert to, let's play 2 CDMs in front of our inadequate centre-backs. So I don't understand why Tuansebe's not started. He's got to start the game tomorrow against Istanbul. 100%. You cannot. And I agree with Ibrahim, who's saying you've got to put Lindelof in there and take Maguire out. Ibrahim, if it was down to me, I would. But this is the team that Ole's got to pick. This is not the team I would pick. Ole's got to pick that team. There are big changes in it, and he's got to make it. If I'm in charge of it, I agree with you. I would drop Maguire, but it's a waste of my time putting Lindelof and Tuansebe as the centre backs because he will not drop Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is a little bit like McTominay. For some reason, there's an obsession there, and Harry Maguire will definitely start. But longer term, I think if you took the captaincy off Harry Maguire and let him focus on being a centre back with Tuansebe, that partnership could work well. I don't think Lindelof and Tuansebe long term are going to work. Harry Maguire at least has aerial ability and Tuansebe has pace. I think they balance each other quite well. If Ole doesn't give Bruno the band, play at Tuansebe and Van der Beek, give a hairdryer to Bad Eggs, show a system consistently, or at least question the board. Why would anyone be Ole in? Your thoughts, says Chinmay. Yeah, I mean, look, I've spoken to a lot of people who are vocally Ole out. Some people don't want to say they're Ole out publicly, but they are. And look, I'm not. I'll tell you when I'm Ollie out. I'm not Ollie out at the moment. I'm very Ollie confused. I'm very irritated by him. I tweeted it this morning when I woke up. I'm still as angry now as I was on Sunday, and I'm sure many of you feel the same. I'm furious. I'm absolutely furious. And the thing that makes me angry is my loyalty to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for whatever that's worth. I'm not expecting Ollie to go, oh my God, you're so loyal to me. He probably thinks I'm an idiot. I don't care about that. All I care about is Manchester United Football Club. And I still look back on Sunday and I'm still furious. And I read the comments of Harry Maguire and I just think, you're not the captain. Like, you just pass in the book. That's not what a captain does. But more importantly, I look at what Solskjaer did and I'm furious. I'm furious that, like, he just got it so badly wrong. And I'm worried. And look, I'm not threatening anybody. I'm sure you're not threatening anybody. But am I close to being he's not the right man for Manchester United? Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest. I'm closer than I was certainly a week ago. And I think the things that are gonna, I'll be absolutely honest with you. The things that are gonna push me to say Ollie out, and I hope I don't get this far, but the things that are gonna push me there are the things that are really pushing my buttons at the moment and making me angry. I'm fed up of Scott McTominay starting games for Manchester United. Absolutely fed up of it. I'm fed up of Lindelof and Maguire starting as our centre-back pairing because they're not good enough. They may be good for certain games, but they're not our best centre-back pairing. So those two things are really irritating me at the moment. And the third thing that really irritates me is that he thinks Van der Beek and Bruno can't play in the same bloody team. And I actually think Van der Beek would have done a better job than Pogba on Sunday. And yet Pogba and Bruno start all the time. Yet he won't start Van der Beek and Bruno. So there's three things there. The Van der Beek thing really annoys me. The Scott McTominay thing baffles and frustrates me. And the centre-back thing frustrates me. And if you change those three things, you start playing Van der Beek in the same team as Bruno. You stop picking Scott McTominay and you stop playing Lindelof and Maguire. I think those three things will massively improve the team. And if you think about it, of course it will. One of our better players starts playing regularly with our better players. The centre-back pairing actually has balance and speed, and we stop playing a player that's not good enough compared to some people on the bench. I think we'll improve massively, but my fear is Ollie's already set his stall out. He's obsessed with picking McTominay, he's obsessed with Lindelof and Maguire, and he's obsessed with not picking Van der Beek and Bruno in the same team. They're the three things that frustrate me, and we've been down this road so many times. I spoke about it last night on the show about how Van Gaal did this with Herrera. I mean, we've been doing the United stand for a few years now, and that was a common theme as well. He wouldn't pick Herrera, and everyone was going, just pick Herrera. And then when he did, Herrera was great, but then he'd drop him again. And we're having the same thing with this manager, these idiocies, I would say. And some would say, no, I don't agree, but it's all about opinion. But these things that you look at as a fan and they grind your gears so much because you're like, you're so close. You're going to sack yourself. I mean, I'd be so disappointed if we got beat 4-0 by Everton at the weekend and he was sacked on Sunday, because I'd be like, I actually think you're so close to the magic formula. I think you've shown you can do it. You're so close to the magic formula. At the end of last season, you had a best 11 and you were consistent and we got third. This season, you know, you're about as consistent as diarrhea. You know, you just, every team is verbal diarrhea. The team sheet is just changed every week. And I just think, go back to being consistent, find what your best 11 is, and you will start to do better and you won't lose your job. But at the moment, I'm just worried he's going to be stubborn. He's going to ignore, no, you know, Gary Neville said after 5 minutes the McTominay thing wasn't working. What does he know? You know, all the fans are saying, I don't know what, you know, stubbornness will get him sacked. He's got to make those changes. Twan Sebi is also good in the air, Mark. Plus in Europe, we need more agile defenders. I feel the game has progressed and Maguire is too old-fashioned. Sharath Kamath fitness. And Mark, now we know Scott can't please CDM or box to box. At 24, I don't think he's worth keeping for growth, especially on more than 100k. Look, you know, I feel sorry for Scott McTominay. It's not his fault. He doesn't pick himself. Of course, he's going to want to get picked for Manchester United. But I said something 18 months ago about him and I got panned for it. I said I don't know that he's even good enough for Preston North End. And I've been told that's a load of nonsense. But I genuinely don't know what he's good at. I think he's just very lucky that he gets picked all the time. And eventually it might work, but he's been given a lot of chances, and I still don't really know what it's about. But what I would say is great. If you didn't see the show last night with Beth and Kevin and Ricky, really good point from Ricky where he said, you look at the signings that United have made under Ollie, and are they better than the players that have been sold? Well, Lukaku, a lot of us wanted him to go, and I did want him to go, but is Lukaku better than Cavani? I would say yes, certainly for age. Is Smalling better than Maguire? And Maguire cost 80 million quid. I would say, that's very close. That's very, very close. Herrera, obviously, I don't use Herrera because Ollie couldn't keep Herrera. I think Herrera would have stayed if Ollie had been in charge, but United had already messed that up. But ultimately, apart from Bruno, when you look at the players that we've let go, have we progressed? And I think the Smalling-Maguire one is the most interesting one. When you spend £80 million on someone like that, they've got to be better than players that you're letting go. And you look at what Smalling's done in Roma, and you look at what Smalling did in a United shirt. Is there a massive difference between Chris Smalling and Harry Maguire? Well, there is. £80 million of expenditure. We should be getting a lot more from these players than what we're getting, and it's not good enough. We need to rest some players tomorrow, says Dangerous Gamers. Rest some players. Don't you think they had a big enough rest on Sunday afternoon? Lazy shits. That's one of the worst performances I've seen from United. They don't need a bloody rest. They need a kick up the arse. I'll tell you what they need. When you used to do PE and that, and they say get down and do 10 press-ups, and they go get down and do another 10. That's what United need. They need a bloody night off playing PS4. Get back on the bloody pitch and put some pride in the shirt. This team's getting a rest on international duty. I don't give a shit if you're off to play for France or England or Holland or whoever. Your Manchester United players, I couldn't give two shits if you're exhausted on Saturday night after the Everton game for your international duty. Tough shit. Go and have a rest there. We're Manchester United. We need to win the next two games. And I tell you what, you don't get consistent by messing around with teams and giving people rest. We need to start picking the best team. The problem we've got is and this is on the manager as well, every single game at the moment, he's changing it. As I said, you look at that Leipzig result, the diamond was Matic, Fred, Pogba, Bruno. What was it against Arsenal? Fred, McTominay, Pogba, Bruno. You mess up a four that knows how to work together for a massive game and swap two players who aren't good enough. So he's got to start being consistent. If we want to beat Everton on Saturday, he's got to put a team out against Istanbul that's pretty much going to be the same team. Don't put a team out for Champions League and a team out for the Premier League because you'll get the sack. He's got to start being consistent. Why not give Lingard a chance, says Nawood. I wouldn't be opposed to giving Lingard a chance. He's just not fit. Lingard's part of the team, and the way people are performing at the moment, I expect Jesse will get a chance. Dan James has had a chance. Mata's had a chance. McTominay's had a chance. Fred's had a chance. Why wouldn't you give Lingard a chance? I don't know where Lingard would fit. But a few of you quite rightly saying we've got to get rid of the diamond. Why sticking with the diamond? Because that's the best system we've got. And I do sympathise with Solskjaer here. I don't think Solskjaer wants to play the diamond. I didn't want us to play the diamond. It's only when did I start talking about the diamond? 3 weeks ago? When we used to talk about the diamond on the show over the last 6 months, I'd say, no, I hate the diamond. You saw it against Everton. It doesn't get the best out of what we've got. I don't think Solskjaer wants to play the diamond. Solskjaer's probably a bit like me and you. It's the best system we've got with the players that we've got. Solskjaer wants to play a 4-3-3 with width. He's always done that, and we've always performed better with that. He can't do that because the board didn't deliver him wingers. He wanted Sancho, he didn't get it. He's got Palestri and another youngster coming in January. They're irrelevant. They're not ready. Dan James has got worse than last season. So basically, he's got no wingers to play the 4-3-3. He can play Rashford off the left and Greenwood off the right with Martial up front. But you're playing with three forwards, and those three forwards don't provide enough defensive support. So we end up getting beat. So I think Ollie wants to play a 4-3-3. He just hasn't got the midfield for it. And he hasn't got... Well, I think he has got the midfield to play a 4-3-3. If he plays Matic, Bruno and Van der Beek or Pogba, I think we're absolutely sorted there. But he hasn't got the front three. Defensively, they're not good enough. And also, if you start playing a 4-3-3... and Greenwood gets injured or Rashford gets injured, who are you going to play? So he's forced to go with the diamond, you get me? He's forced to go with the diamond because He can't play the wide thing he wants to play. Now, we've been linked with, what's his name? Samuel Chukwueze from Villarreal this morning. I think we will. I think we will get linked with wingers, and he still does need to bring a winger in, which sounds a bit weird when we bought Palestri and Ahmed Traore in January, but they're not ready. They're young players who provide us with depth, maybe in 2 or 3 years' time on the wing. But however long Ole stays as manager of Manchester United, I've got no doubt that he wants to play wingers, but he hasn't got enough. So we're forced to play with the diamond. This applies for every sport. Chopping and changing players in a team every game creates doubts in players' mind and leads to failures, says Dipak. It leads to inconsistency as well, Dipak. What's with this Poch obsession? Laurent Blanc would be so much better than him. He plays positive football. Poch has shown he's not good enough for the Premier League, says ZMax R7. Well, look, I didn't really want to spend time talking about Poch, but ultimately Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure. He's put himself under pressure, and Pochettino will be the next manager of Manchester United if Solskjaer gets sacked, because, you know, I actually agree with you. Not necessarily on Blanc. There are other good coaches out there, but, you know, we've got people, let's never forget this, we've got people in charge of this football club making footballing decisions who are incompetent. If they sack Solskjaer, they'll go for the obvious thing and they'll think Pochettino's going to win us the league, because these are the stupid decisions that get made. We don't have football people making decisions at this football club, which is why we consistently mess up on not being able to sell players, paying silly wages to players, and not being very good at buying players, and also poor managerial decisions, which we continually make. So if Solskjaer does get sacked, it will be Pochettino. Whether it should be or not, it will. What do you think if Bruno played where Pogba goes and Mata plays the number 10? Think we could keep the ball better with him in the team, says Steve Locke. See, I know Ricky loves Juan Mata. I don't want Juan Mata anywhere near this team. To me, Juan Mata is dusted against good teams. He might play tomorrow and play well, but when you play him at Everton or you play him against Man City or someone like that, he's not good enough anymore. You know, I don't disagree with what Ricky and many of you say, that Mata's a brilliant footballer. He always has been. But what I've seen of Mata in the last 2 years is that his legs have gone. He's not got the legs for the top level of the Premier League anymore. And if that is what Ole's plan is tomorrow or on Saturday, it's a short-term plan. He needs a long-term plan. If he wants to keep his job, he needs a long-term plan. The long-term plan, because football fans aren't stupid, you're not stupid. The only way Solskjaer can keep his job, I think, at the moment, and it applies to me as much as it applies to you, we need to see a consistent side that we can go, that's our best 11 and there's longevity in it. If he puts Cavani up front and drops Rashford and he drops Bruno for Mata, then yeah, all right, we might get a couple of results, but we know there's no long-termism in it. They're too old to carry the team for even 6 games, let alone 6 months. So he's got to get a team out that has a vision for the future, that is consistent. And look, I said it last night and I'll say it right now. At the end of last season, he consistently sent a best 11 out. And we all agreed with it. We broke some record for picking the same 11 so many times in a row. And he exhausted that team because the bench was crap. But I still think he was right to keep picking the best team because the bench didn't help him out. This season, it's almost like he's not that manager anymore. You know, that team got 3rd place from nowhere. This season, he can't pick the same team 11. I don't know whether he's picked the same 11 twice. Certainly not game after game. He might have done 1 game, then 2 games time he's picked that 11. So, yeah, and some of his team selections have been ridiculous. You know, Dan James and Juan Mata against Chelsea. McTominay and Fred swapping around like that against Arsenal. Bad team selections, but inconsistent team selections. He's got to pick a team that everyone can sort of go, well, that's his best 11. And also, I agree with that. They're the 2 ticks Solskjaer's got to do. Otherwise, you're going to lose your job. Because Solskjaer might be stubborn, but don't be stubborn to history, Ollie. Look at recent history at Manchester United. Stubborn managers have been sacked, and when you lose the fans, you lose your job. If you don't value fans, then you're in trouble. And I'm not saying that as United stand. I'm talking about Manchester United fans in general. When Van Gaal lost the fans around Christmas time, it was the beginning of the end. When Mourinho started losing fans after Sevilla, it was the beginning of the end. If Ollie starts losing fans, and at the moment I think there's a tipping point, I think there's a lot of people who are Ollie out, but I still think there's a lot of people who are Ollie in, he can still keep his job. But if he goes and messes up with silly team selections over the next couple of games, he's going to lose more fans. And eventually there'll be a tipping point and he won't be able to come back from it. So hopefully he's going to start picking a team like that and sticking with it. Not just for Istanbul, but for Everton. I want to see the same 11 against Istanbul as Everton. Both away games, both going to be challenging, but both games we need to win. There's no need to tweak the team for tomorrow or Everton. Purely on results, I'm Ollie out, says Craig Thomas Miller, but bringing Poch in won't change much with this current board. It's like your clutch going and buying new tyres. And Zane says, will it be a Turkish delight for Ollie? I hope so. There's no agenda against Lindelof, Kevin G. Unless it's from Ollie, there is no agenda from me, certainly. I'm just picking that team because I think that's the team Ollie should pick. There is no way he will drop Maguire for Lindelof. I'd love to see him do it. I think it would send a strong message, but he didn't drop Maguire when he should have dropped him, which is at the start of the season and after the Spurs game, so I don't think he'll do it. Why doesn't Ollie use Fosu Mensah for giving Matic a rest, says Nitin Cash. I'll tell you what, I would love to see Fosu Mensah at CDM. He'd do a way better job than McTominay or Fred, but we've never seen it. Anyway, look, we're back at 12:30, so I'm not going to dwell on this video for too long. It's the preview with a little bit of Manchester United news. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner, and smash a like on the video. Can I just say as well, make sure you download the Flick app. We are, lots of people are signing up. As I said, it's free. The link is in the video description. Today's poll for you is, let's have a look what today's poll is. Come back. Solskjaer's first 100 games, Ollie in, Ollie out. Who is Manchester United's greatest Premier League era number 7? You can vote for Cantona, Beckham, Ronaldo, Valencia or Michael Owen. I don't think anyone's going to vote for Michael Owen, but it's interesting what people are voting for. It's going to be Beckham, Ronaldo or Cantona. That's today's poll. Link is in the video description for that. We've got, basically, it's an app where Ian says hi to me on there. There's different little chat groups. It's a bit like WhatsApp with loads of different groups that you can talk. Transfer chat, introduce yourself, Champions League, FIFA 21, general Man United chat, new polls and quizzes, kit number quiz, player nationalities quiz, transfer fees quiz, history quiz, loads and loads of stuff. Links in the video description. Join the United Stand community on Flick. I think you're going to really enjoy it. Give it a go. I'll speak to you at 12:30 for Ollie's press conference reaction. Speak to you in a bit.